Hey, Shalom Akim. Want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua Ba'Shem Rakah Kodash. Double honor to the apostles, bishop, elders, great millstone. Salute to the sincere Akim out there of the hopeful elect. Salute to you, brothers, man. All right. I was chopping it up with the elder brothers of Car just a while ago. You know, we were discussing things, you know, about identity theft, AI. You know, the RFID microchip, which is the mark of the beast according to the Holy Bible, and how the world is rapidly changing to a new order. Okay, which that's the goal of the elites, or the Illuminati for that matter. All right, which is basically you know, their hidden agenda, which is not so hidden anymore. It's basically being exposed through the spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. And you know, you got certain whistleblowers also who's been exposing everything. All right, which is the end game is to microchip everybody. You know, they want to chip everybody, okay, so they can have total control over the population, the global population. All right, you know, you see what's going on out there in the UK, you know, with this you know, this government ID, digital ID that they got going out there, you know, which is just another step closer to the RFID microchip. Okay, and when you put people in these uncompromisable positions, a lot of people are going to flock to those chipping stations, man. All right, and you know, and it's only a matter of time before it's, you know, mandated here in America, and even on a larger scale all across the world. Okay, you know, so without further ado, I'm gonna go into the main scripture with the main topic concerning the RFID microchip and how it relates to the New World Order. All right, in which, you know, the world is basically heading towards, and fast at that. All right, so this is Revelation chapter 13 verse 16. It reads, "And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads." Okay, and he causeth all. Who's the he talking about? It's talking about the so-called white man. Okay, it's not your average typical Joe six-pack white boy, of course, right? Because, you know, the average white boy is a peon, just as much as the rest of the people in this world are peons. They ain't got a real clue or any control over what's happening in this world or what the future holds for them, you know. But it's mainly talking about is namely talking about the Illuminati, the global elites of this society. You know, you got the Rothschild family, of course. You got the Rockefellers, okay, and then you even got, you know, this new money with these big tech execs. All right, like Peter Thiel, you got Elon Musk, okay, just to name a few. All right, who's basically driving the world towards a new world order. Okay, a lot of people are fascinated by AI, you know. You know, like I said, me and the elder brothers of Car was talking about you know, we was talking about AI and identity theft, and you know, basically how, you know, the older you are, the harder it is to keep up with the rapid change of this world. You know, me for instance, right? And Zakar mentioned it as well. You know, when it comes to these big companies, whether it be Amazon, you know, whether it be certain government agencies like the Department of Labor, the DMV, or whatever the case may be, you know, you gotta talk to AI just to get through to them, man. You know, you gotta talk to AI. You know, most of these big franchise corporations, when you dial their number up, you don't necessarily get to an operator or a human being for that matter. You have to go through AI, man. You know, they always telling you press 1 if you want this department, press 2 if you're looking for that department, press 3 if you're looking. You know, it's always some computer animated voice that's telling you what to press, and then when you press the button, it leads you to another goddamn computer animated voice giving you more fucking instructions and other buttons to press on the keypad. Okay, I mean, you gotta go through a whole bunch of shit just to talk to a fucking human being. All right, but that's where this world is headed, man. Okay, where everything is just artificial. All right, and if you know, you an older brother like myself and some of you other brothers out there, okay, you know, you this shit gets you fed up quick. You know, you got to be real patient, man, to deal with this shit, man. You know, having to go through AI and computers and all this kind of shit, you know, just to get one simple thing resolved, man. Okay. AI lacks an emotional response, you know, so it's just everything's computer generated. So, you know, your question, you know, you lose patience to the point where your question can't even be answered, man. All right. So, you know, that's how fast you can see the world is changing to a new world order. You know, a lot of these phone operators, people losing their jobs to artificial intelligence, man. Okay. You know, I mean, and that's not really nothing new, you know, talking to them computer generated, animated, you know, voices on a telephone from these companies. But, you know, but now it's becoming more and more prevalent everywhere you fucking go. Any number you dial when it comes to businesses and such, man. All right, just to answer a simple question, okay? Especially government agencies, man. All right. So I'm gonna read this again, Revelations 13:16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. That's talking about people from all walks of life, okay, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. All right, and that mark is talking about a RFID microchip, okay, a human implantable chip, because that word mark in the Greek is charagma, all right, which, you know, means that has something that has to, an incision has to be made, okay, in which they cut open your skin and insert a human implantable microchip in you, which is supposed to contain all of your information, your identification, your medical records, all right, your financial records, okay, all transactions are supposed to be done through that chip, okay, all right. And, you know, another thing we was discussing was about automatic payments, okay. All right, you got automatic payments. Everything that you do, anything that you purchase, all right, wherein there's a recurring bill, a bill cycle, it's asking for automatic payments. Right now, you know, you can compromise, okay, but the future, right, where things are headed is going to be an uncompromisable position in which a lot of people are going to be put into, you know. And I was now telling Zakar, like, yo, you know, you got this you know, automatic payments for goddamn near everything, man. You know what happened to the good old days when, you know, you can pay your rent by a fucking money order and mailing it to the rent office or just dropping it off at the rent office, you know. I mean, you got people that still do that. I still do that, you know, but even the rent offices are trying to get you to make automatic payments, man, you know, through your through getting your bank account information or your debit card information or what have you. All right, so you got the rent office, you got billing cycles on your telephone, you know, on your cell phone or what have you, billing cycles on your energy bill, okay, billing cycles on your car insurance and car payments and things of that such. All right, billing cycles on your internet provider, you know. So, you know, if they all stressing auto pay, all right, because, you know, this is a credit-based society wherein if you don't have good credit or, you know, decent credit, they don't want to allow you to have anything, you know. So, you know, all of this auto pay and artificial intelligence, right, this is just the next step headed towards the future, wherein they're going to wind up putting the world into an uncompromisable position wherein they're going to want to chip everybody, man. Okay? Wherein they're going to want to chip everybody, you know? Now, if you got all of these different bills to pay, because most people are actually late on bills, you know, believe it or not. Majority of the people in the world are not millionaires. Okay? They're not millionaires and they're not billionaires. All right? A lot of people don't even get 6 figures. Okay? So, you know, a lot of people wound up late on their billing cycles. All right. Now, if you was to put auto pay for every damn bill that you have, how are you going to feed yourself, man? How are you going to feed yourself? All right. If the rent is snatching money out of your account, if your internet provider, your energy bill and all of that, they snatching it right out of your account, How in the hell are you going to provide food for yourself, man? Knowing you only get paid once a week, some people bi-weekly, okay? All right? So this is all a form of oppression, man. All a form of oppression, and this is all leading up to the RFID microchip, all right? It says, and he causeth for all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, all right? And this is what he's causing them to do, okay? Because he's going to put people in an uncompromisable position. Hence, you got the government shutdown, in which a lot of government aid is being withheld from people who actually needs it. You got government workers who haven't received a paycheck in more than a month now, okay? So if you can withhold people's needs to get them to compromise and accept whatever you want them to do in order to receive those benefits and payments or whatever that you owe them. This is a plan that this is one of the tactics of the devil that he's certainly going to use when it comes to mandating that RFID microchip, okay? And then it's going to get mandated to the point that, you know, if you don't accept it, they're going to force it on you, man. They're going to force it on you, okay? Or give you the choice to be ostracized from society, man. All right? It says, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Okay? So, people are going to be put in a position where, in order to sell, keep their business afloat, right? In order to purchase things, okay? In order to pay bills, all right? You're going to have that mark, that RFID microchip, man. All right? And people are through a process of gradualism, people are being conditioned to accept that microchip, man. Okay? Because that's the next step, you know? After swiping your debit card, tapping your debit card on a reader, all right? A scanner, scanning your debit card, all right? Wherein paper money has become totally obsolete, man. You know, you can go to some of the junkiest ran down stores in the hood, and they have those damn debit card readers, man. I'm surprised you don't got homeless people out there with fucking card scanners, man, begging for money, you know? All right? But they show you in those movies like Out of Time, right, in the future, how their projection of the future, okay, what it looks like, man. All right? How basically money's going to be obsolete and everything's going to be about a wave of the hand, okay? And that hand is how, that mark is how transactions are going to be conducted in society, all right? But verse 18, and I'm going to end it with this, it says, here is wisdom, that him that has understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, all right? And that man is the white man, so-called white man, all right? And his number is 666, which is the devil, proving that the so-called white man is the devil, all right? And the beast is none other than the system, all right? The whole white man's system, okay, is the beast, all right? And if you don't get that mark, you know, you're not going to be in the system. You're going to have to live off the grid, okay? But if you accept that mark, according to the Holy Bible, according to the word of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, that's God Almighty and his son, who the world ignorantly calls Christ, you're going to be destroyed if you take that chip, all right? So the Lord is going to have to be with you, and you're going to have a great deal of faith, like the scriptures tell you, be faithful even unto death, all right? To the verge of dying. You got to be faithful, brothers, all right? So I'm going to end this video on that note, say shalom, Wabarakam to you brothers out there, Lord willing. See you in the next one. Keep fighting the good fight. Shalom.